When servants become soldiers. Captain Sarah Martinez stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, watching the debris field slowly rotate in the darkness of space. Another cleanup mission. Another mess left by the cosmic assembly for humans to fix. The twisted metal and frozen atmosphere told the story of a mining accident that could have been prevented. Should have been prevented, if the assembly had followed their own safety protocols. How many this time? She asked her first officer, Lieutenant Commander Torres, 47 dead, Captain, all from the Kepler colonies. The assembly station nearby reported it as an unavoidable industrial incident. Torres handed her the data pad, his jaw tight with suppressed anger. Martinez read the report and felt the familiar burn of injustice in her chest. The assembly. Mining operation had ignored 17 safety warnings from human engineers. When the inevitable happened, they called Earth for cleanup while filing insurance claims for equipment loss. No mention of the lives lost. No compensation for the families. Just another day in humanity's 3-century servitude to the stars. The cosmic assembly had found Earth during humanity's early space expansion. They arrived with promises of partnership, technology sharing, and mutual prosperity. What they delivered was a contract that made humans the galaxy's maintenance crew. Too primitive for decision-making, they said, but perfect for dangerous work others wouldn't do. For 300 years, humans believed the lie that if they worked hard enough, proved themselves worthy enough, they would earn a seat at the galactic table. Martinez had believed it too once. She had joined the assembly service with dreams of exploring the stars as an equal partner. 20 years later, she commanded the most advanced human ship in space and still couldn't enter an assembly station without an escort. Captain, Communications, Officer Park called out. We're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command. Put it through. Admiral Chen Wei appeared on the main screen, his weathered face more serious than Martinez had ever seen it. Behind him, she could see the war room deep beneath Earth's capital, a place that officially didn't exist. Sarah, Chen said without preamble, we need to talk. Secure channel. Your ears only. Martinez felt her blood chill. She ordered the bridge, crew to their stations, and retreated to her ready room. When the private channel opened, Chen's first words changed everything. It's time, he said simply. Martinez had wondered when this day would come. For the past 5 years, strange rumors had circulated among human crews, new technologies appearing without explanation, military advisors asking detailed questions about assembly ship designs, cargo manifests that didn't quite add up. She had suspected Earth was preparing for something, but hoping was different from knowing. What happened? She asked. Chen's face darkened. The assembly hit the refugee ship New Horizon 3 hours ago. 50,000 civilians, Sarah. Families fleeing the corporate wars in the Outer Rim. The assembly claimed they were smuggling weapons and opened fire without warning. Martinez felt the world shift beneath her feet. The New Horizon had been carrying children, elderly refugees, people seeking nothing but safety. She had personally vouched for their transit permits. Survivors, she whispered. None. The assembly is calling it a navigation error. They're saying the New Horizon strayed into restricted space and refused orders to halt. Chen's voice was ice. We have the real communication logs, Sarah. The New Horizon was exactly where they were supposed to be. The assembly executed them to make a point. Martinez closed her eyes, seeing the faces of the families she had helped process aboard the New Horizon. Little Maria Santos, who wanted to be a starship engineer. Old Henrik Chen, who had saved for decades to buy passage for his grandchildren. All gone, murdered by the same assembly that preached galactic harmony. What are our orders? She asked. As of 30 minutes ago, Earth has formally withdrawn from all galactic treaties. We're broadcasting the silent verdict across all channels. 300 years of serving as the galaxy's slaves just ended. Chen leaned forward. Sarah, everything you've seen, everything you've suspected about our preparations, it's all real. We've been planning this for 50 years. The Admiral activated a holographic display showing detailed schematics of assembly ships, weapons, systems, and defensive installations. The level of detail was staggering. Every weakness, every blind spot, every exploitable flaw had been cataloged and analyzed. "How do we know all this?" Martinez asked, though she suspected the answer. "Because we built half of it," Chen replied. "Every time they sent us to fix their stations, upgrade their systems, or clean up their messes, we learned. Every human engineer, every maintenance crew, every cleaner documented everything. They thought we were too stupid to understand what we were seeing. They were wrong." Martinez stared at the data, realizing the scope of what Earth had accomplished. While the assembly saw humans as simple laborers, human intelligence officers had been conducting the most comprehensive espionage operation in galactic history. Every maintenance hatch opened, every circuit panel accessed, every system diagnostic run had been part of a vast intelligence-gathering network. "Your first target is Assembly Station Omega," Chen continued. "It's their command hub for the entire Vega sector, the station that authorized the attack on New Horizon." Martinez felt a cold smile spread across her face. Station Omega was supposedly impregnable, protected by automated defense systems and a garrison of Assembly's finest soldiers. She had cleaned their waste recycling systems just 6 months ago. "I know that station inside and out," she said. "When do we move?" "You're already moving," Chen replied. "Check your navigation computer." Martinez pulled up the ship's current heading and felt her heart race. The Resilience was already on course for Station Omega, traveling at maximum stealth velocity. Her crew, without knowing it, had been preparing for war. "Admiral, my people don't know," she said. "They know enough," Chen replied. "Every human in space has been briefed on contingency protocols. Your crew has been training for this day for years, Sarah. They just didn't know it was training." Martinez thought about her officers, her engineers, her security teams, all the extra drills that seemed excessive, all the new equipment that appeared without explanation, all the tactical exercises disguised as routine operations. Her people had been preparing for war while thinking they were just doing their jobs. "What about the rest of the galaxy?" she asked. "The other species?" Chen's expression softened slightly. "Most of them are slaves too, Sarah. Different chains, but still slaves. The Assembly has been playing divide and conquer for millennia. When they see what humans can do, when they see that the Assembly can be challenged, many will join us." The Admiral paused, studying her face. "Sarah, this isn't revenge. This is revolution. We're not just fighting for humanity, we're fighting for every species the Assembly has stepped on. We're going to tear down their system and build something better." Martinez felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. 300 years of human suffering. Generations of talented minds wasted on menial labor. Countless lives lost to Assembly negligence and arrogance. The New Horizon was just the latest atrocity in a long list of crimes. "Understood, Admiral," she said. "We'll make them pay." "No, Sarah," Chen corrected her. "We'll make them answer. There's a difference." The transmission ended, leaving Martinez alone with the magnitude of what was about to happen. She returned to the bridge, where her crew worked with quiet efficiency. They could feel the change in the air, the electric tension that preceded battle. "All stations report," she ordered. "Weapons systems online," reported Tactical Officer Williams. "We're carrying the new plasma lance arrays." "Engineering standing by," called Chief Petty Officer Jackson. "The new power cores are running smooth as silk." "Navigation has us on approach to Station Omega," Navigation Officer Kim announced. "ETA 47 minutes. Martinez looked around her bridge, seeing her people with new eyes. They weren't just a maintenance crew anymore. They were the tip of humanity's spear, the first strike in a war that would reshape the galaxy. "Crew of the Resilience," she announced over the ship's communication system. "This is your captain. As of today, we are no longer servants. We are no longer the Assembly's cleanup crew. Today we become what we were always meant to be, protectors of the innocent and defenders of justice." She paused, letting the words sink in. The Assembly Destroyed the refugee ship New Horizon 3 hours ago. 50,000 innocent people murdered to make a point. Earth has withdrawn from all galactic treaties. We are now at war. The bridge fell silent, but Martinez could feel the change rippling through her crew. Anger, yes, but also something else. Purpose. For the first time in 3 centuries, humans had a mission that mattered. Our target is Assembly Station Omega, she continued. The station that authorized the massacre. We know their systems, we know their weaknesses, and we know how to make them pay. This is our message to the galaxy. Humanity will no longer be silent. As Station Omega appeared on their sensors, Martinez felt the weight of history watching. The Assembly thought they were facing a primitive species with stolen technology. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon had never been their ships or their guns. It was their refusal to stay down when beaten. It was their ability to turn servitude into strength, oppression into opportunity. Most of all, it was their talent for making the impossible look easy. Station Omega's automated defenses came online as the resilience approached. Plasma cannons swiveled to track the human ship. Energy shields powered up to maximum strength. The Assembly garrison scrambled to battle stations, confident in their superior technology and firepower. They had no idea that 6 months ago, while cleaning their waste systems, human engineers had installed something extra in the station's computer network. Something small, something invisible, something that would turn their own defenses against them. "Williams, are you ready?" Martinez asked. "Weapons locked and loaded, Captain. The station won't know what hit them." Martinez smiled, remembering Admiral Chen's words. This wasn't revenge, it was revolution. And revolution, she had learned, was humanity's greatest talent: fire. When the hunters become the hunted, the destruction of Assembly Station Omega sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Not because of the damage itself, though the explosion could be seen from 3 star systems away, but because of how it happened. The station's own defenses had turned against it, systematically dismantling every shield generator, weapon emplacement, and life support system before the final detonation. Captain Martinez stood in the debris field where Station Omega had been. Watching Assembly rescue ships search for survivors, she had allowed them to approach, even provided assistance. This wasn't about massacre. It was about message. The message was clear. Humanity knew everything. "Captain," Communications Officer Park announced, "we're receiving transmissions from across the sector. Assembly Command is ordering all units to hunt down and destroy human ships." "How many ships are they mobilizing?" Martinez asked. "Everything they have in 12 sectors, ma'am. Looks like about 1,500 vessels." Lieutenant Commander Torres whistled low. "They're scared." Martinez nodded. The Assembly had built their empire on the belief that they were inherently superior to younger species. The idea that humans, their janitors and maintenance crews, could outthink them was shattering their worldview. Fear made them dangerous, but it also made them predictable. "Set course for the Kepler Nebula," she ordered, "and open a channel to Earth Command." Admiral Chen appeared on screen, his face grim but determined. Behind him, Martinez could see the controlled chaos of Earth's war room. Holographic displays showed ship movements across known space, with human vessels marked in blue and Assembly forces in red. The red significantly outnumbered the blue. "Sarah, good work on Omega," Chen said. "But now comes the hard part. They're mobilizing everything to hunt you down." "I know, Admiral. 1,500 ships against how many of ours?" 43, Chen replied bluntly. "But we're not fighting their war, Sarah. We're fighting ours." Martinez felt a chill. 43 ships against 1,500 was suicide, no matter how good their intelligence. "Admiral, what aren't you telling me?" Chen smiled, and for the first time in years, Martinez saw hope in his eyes. "Do you remember why we chose the Kepler Nebula for our first major operation?" Martinez thought back to her briefings. The Kepler Nebula was a massive cloud of gas and debris, the remnant of an ancient supernova. It was also where the Assembly dumped toxic waste from their industrial operations, relying on human crews to maintain the disposal stations scattered throughout the nebula. We know every inch of it, she said slowly. Every disposal station, every maintenance depot, She stopped, realization dawning. Every hidden supply cache we built while they weren't looking. For 50 years, Sarah. Every maintenance mission, every cleanup operation, every repair job was an opportunity to position resources. The assembly thought we were just doing our jobs. We were building the largest hidden military network in galactic history. The tactical display shifted, showing the Kepler Nebula in detail. What had appeared to be empty space was suddenly filled, with markers indicating weapons depots, communication relays, sensor networks, and hidden shipyards. The assembly had been so focused on watching human activities in civilized space that they had ignored the places they considered worthless. How many ships can we really field? Martinez asked. In the nebula. About 300. Not all of them are as advanced as the Resilience, but they're crewed by humans who know this region better than anyone. Plus, we have allies. Allies. The assembly didn't just oppress humanity, Sarah. They've been exploiting every species they considered inferior. When word spreads about what we did to Station Omega, others will join us. The Talaxians, the Rigel Collective, even some of the assembly's own member species are tired of being treated as second-class citizens. Martinez felt the scope of Earth's planning becoming clear. This wasn't just a human rebellion. It was the foundation of a galactic revolution. For 50 years, while serving as the assembly's servants, humans had been quietly documenting every injustice, every exploitation, every war crime committed by the galactic establishment. Admiral, do we have records of everything? Everything. Sarah. Every illegal mining operation, every forced relocation, every accident that was actually murder. 300 years of evidence, all carefully documented and verified. The assembly thought we were too stupid to understand what we were, seeing so they never bothered to hide it from us. The implications were staggering. Humans hadn't just been building military resources. They had been building the largest intelligence archive in galactic history. Every maintenance crew, every cleanup team, every human servant had been part of an intelligence operation that spanned centuries. When do we release it? Martinez asked. Now, Chen replied. We're broadcasting everything on all frequencies in every known language. Every species in the galaxy is about to learn exactly what the assembly has been doing in their name. Martinez watched as her communications officer began transmitting terabytes of data to relay stations across the galaxy. Video recordings of assembly officers ordering the murder of civilians, audio files of secret meetings planning the exploitation of younger species, financial records showing how the assembly's elite had grown rich off the suffering of others. Captain, Park called out, we're receiving responses from across the galaxy. Species governments are demanding explanations from the assembly. Some are formally protesting. Others are joining us. The tactical display updated, showing new blue markers appearing across multiple sectors. Ships from dozens of species were breaking from assembly formations, declaring independence, or openly joining the human rebellion. Admiral, Martinez said, they're going to accelerate their attack. When they realize how bad this is getting, they'll try to crush us before more species defect. Agreed. How long until the assembly fleet reaches the nebula? Martinez checked. Her sensors. 18 hours. Then we have 18 hours to turn the Kepler Nebula into the assembly's graveyard, Chen replied. Sarah, you're not just a ship captain anymore. You're the field commander of the galaxy's first free navy. The weight of responsibility settled on Martinez's shoulders, but it felt different from the burden of serving the assembly. This was weight with purpose, responsibility with meaning. For the first time in her career, she was fighting for something she believed in. Over the next 18 hours, the Kepler Nebula transformed. Hidden shipyards activated, revealing vessels that had been under construction for decades. Supply depots opened, distributing weapons and equipment that human engineers had been secretly developing. Communication networks came online, coordinating the movements of hundreds of ships from dozens of species. The assembly fleet arrived expecting to hunt down a handful of rogue human vessels. Instead, they found themselves entering a carefully prepared trap. The nebula's gas clouds concealed sensor readings, making it impossible for the assembly to get an accurate count of opposing forces. Their ships were forced to advance slowly, feeling their way through the cosmic fog. That's when the first mines detonated. Human engineers had spent 50 years learning exactly how assembly ships were constructed, where their weak points were, how their shields operated. The mines they had built were perfectly calibrated to exploit these weaknesses. Ships that should have been protected by their energy barriers found their hulls breached by weapons designed specifically to bypass their defenses. "Contact," called out Tactical Officer Williams. "Assembly cruiser at Mark 77. They're trying to clear the minefield." "Let them," Martinez replied calmly. "The deeper they go, the worse it gets for them." She was right. As the assembly fleet pushed deeper into the nebula, they encountered increasingly sophisticated defenses. Automated weapon platforms that had been disguised as waste disposal units came online. Sensor networks that had been built into maintenance stations began providing targeting data to human gunners. The very infrastructure the assembly had forced humans to build was being turned against them. "Captain," Communications Officer Park announced, "we're receiving a transmission from the assembly flagship. Admiral Kethavar wants to negotiate." Martinez smiled coldly. Admiral Kethavar was the assembly officer who had personally ordered the destruction of the New Horizon. He was also the one who had once told Martinez that humans would never be worthy of respect because they lacked the intelligence for true warfare. "Put him through," she ordered. Kethavar appeared on the main screen, his usual arrogance replaced by barely controlled fear. His flagship showed signs of damage, and Martinez could hear alarms in the background. "Captain Martinez," he said, trying to maintain dignity, "this madness must end. The assembly is prepared to offer terms." "What terms?" Martinez asked, though she had no intention of accepting anything short of total victory. "Complete autonomy for human colonies, full membership in the Assembly Council, reparations for past misunderstandings." Martinez let the silence stretch, watching Kethavar squirm. Behind him, she could see assembly officers frantically working at damaged stations. His mighty fleet was being torn apart by weapons they hadn't known existed, guided by intelligence they hadn't known humans possessed. "Admiral," she said finally, "do you remember what you told me 5 years ago when I requested better safety equipment for human maintenance crews?" Kethavar's face paled. Martinez could see that he remembered. "You said humans were too stupid to operate advanced equipment safely. You said we were naturally suited to dangerous work because we were too primitive to fear death. You said we would never understand the complexities of galactic politics." She leaned forward, her voice ice cold. "You were wrong about all of it. We understood everything. We feared death, so we prepared for war. We learned galactic politics by documenting every crime you committed while we cleaned up your messes." Martinez stood, feeling the weight of 3 centuries of human suffering behind her words. "Admiral, humanity rejects your terms. We're not seeking membership in your corrupt assembly. We're replacing it." "You can't," Kethavar sputtered. "The assembly has ruled for 10,000 years. You cannot destroy what we have built." "Watch us," Martinez replied, and cut the transmission. The final battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the mighty assembly fleet was reduced to debris and scattered survivors. Admiral Kethavar's flagship limped away, broadcasting surrender terms that no one was listening to anymore. As the smoke cleared, Martinez found herself surrounded by ships from dozens of species, all flying the new flag of the Galactic Liberation Fleet. The blue star of humanity stood at the center, but it was surrounded by the symbols of every species that had chosen freedom over servitude. "Captain," Park announced, "we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. 17 species have formally declared independence from the Assembly. 23 more are demanding immediate reforms. The Assembly Council is calling for emergency sessions." Martinez smiled, thinking of Admiral Chen's words. This wasn't revenge. It was revolution. And revolution, it seemed, was contagious. "Set course for Earth," she ordered. "It's time to build something better." As the Resilience turned toward home, Martinez reflected on how much had changed. 3 days ago, she had been the captain of a maintenance vessel, serving masters who saw her people as nothing more than useful tools. Now she was the commander of a free navy, leading a rebellion that would reshape the galaxy. The Assembly had made one critical mistake. They had assumed that service meant slavery, that obedience meant stupidity, that silence meant submission. They had forgotten that the most dangerous enemy is the one who serves you faithfully while planning your downfall. Humanity had been silent for 300 years. But silence, Martinez had learned, was just another word for preparation. And now finally they were ready to speak. The galaxy would never be the same.